What's up, people? This is Matt Barlow from Ashes of Aries, and you're watching The Metal Voice.
Welcome to another edition of The Metal Voice, and we have with us today, Jim,
Who?
vocalist great Matt Barlow, with his new project, Ashes of Aries.
Ashes of Aries. Matt Barlow. How you doing, Matt?
Matt, how are you doing today?
Good, guys. How are you?
All right. Let's get into the new project. Is this who you got performing with you on this one?
Well, the main body and soul of the band, I guess you would say, myself, Van Williams, and Freddie Vidalis.
Right.
So that's kind of the three of us are the three amigos doing this. We did all the tracking together. We had a couple obviously guest musicians and things like that, but
Sure.
pretty much that's what Ashes of Aries is. The three of us. We kind of like to keep it that way, just because it was, we didn't want too many cooks to muddle it, but we also didn't want one guy running it either. So we wanted it to be a definite collaboration, and we wanted so that the three of us could bring our individual kind of vibe to the table.
Some tracks that I really thought really stood out was The Messenger, This Is My Hell, The Answer, especially The Answer. It's sort of like going back to the, I don't want to say Iced Earth, but I mean, you were a big part of Iced Earth, right? And it just brings me to Something Wicked, those days. I don't know, what are your opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you saying that I was a big part of Iced Earth, man. I certainly like to think that I lent at least some soul to to those records that I was on, and that's kind of, I actually wrote The Answer with my acoustic guitar and my very limited ability to play guitar. I wrote the acoustic version of it, and then I said, Freddie, I really feel really strongly about this song, man. I'd really like to see what you can do with it. And then of course he added all the cool, I don't want to say, I guess for lack of a better term, power ballad stuff to it. But yeah, I mean, I really love the song. The idea of the song, if you don't know, is in recent years I've gone to way more funerals than anybody should ever have to. And I actually today I have to recognize a friend of mine from our regional dispatch passed away last night in a car accident.
Sorry to hear that.
Another that I'm going to be going to, but the song is essentially it's a funeral song, and it's for me to kind of express my feelings to my friends and family that have passed. That I'll see you soon, but you get to go to the other side and see what's up before I do, but I'll be there not too long. Not too long. I mean, in the big scheme of things.
Your vocal style is somewhere between Paul Stanley and Rob Halford. That's the only way I could describe. For people who don't know you, right out there, I mean, it's incredible. And actually, what's interesting? Your voice is actually getting better as as time is going by. I mean, have you been doing more vocal work? I mean, taking more vocal lessons, or just practicing?
All I can say, man, is on this stuff in particular, and on like the Pyramids record. I'm able to do what I want to do, and not what somebody else dictates that the song. And and I'm not saying that it wasn't a dictatorship. I'm not going to say that, but in certain songs, like for instance, John had a certain way he wanted me to sing, or he wanted me to do it. And if somebody's telling you how to do something, it comes across a lot differently than when it comes from you and it comes from the inside of you, and this is the way it comes out. So I guess what I'm saying is that because I chose my particular paths vocally as far as the melodies and things like that, maybe that's a difference. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is just I'm getting better or whatever. But I don't know, man. I really don't know how to say it.
When we interviewed John Schaefer, he was very complimentary. He understood the reasons why you moved on, and he had no problem. He thought that you were obviously a big part of Iced Earth. When I hear Iced Earth, I think of your voice, quite honestly.
For sure.
So, but can you go through maybe the thought process of leaving like Iced Earth and then moving on to this type of project?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would have stayed with Iced Earth if the industry would have allowed it. And I'm sure that John, feels the same way. And I'm not to say that he and Stu don't have something really cool going on, which I really think they do. But it's just the simple fact that the industry has changed, and you can't make money doing records anymore. I mean, just doing records and touring minimally and so on and so forth. So with that in mind, with that being said, John gave me an offer to stay with the band, and I waited out with a couple of things. One, giving up a career that I really love, and then also being away from my family for 6 or 8 months out of the year. I'm just not willing to do that. Some guys can do it. I've got 2 small kids, and I want to see them growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, so that obviously didn't work for me with Iced Earth, but with Ashes of Aries, the 3 of us went into this knowing exactly what we were looking at, and knowing that we love music, we love to write music, we love to perform music, we love to record music, and we wanted to keep doing that.
Is this a full-time gig? Is this a full-time gig, or is it sort of like you're going to see where it goes?
Well, all I can say is this is kind of like what Iced Earth was back in the day.
Okay.
When I put out I did a record, and then we toured on it, enough to promote the record. That's kind of what we're at right now. We're not in the stage where we're going to be out there on the road all the time, because we can't, one, and we don't want to, another. What I mean? We want to get out there and get to places where fans and friends can come and see us, but we can't be all over the globe.
Are you going to be playing some Iced Earth tunes? I'm assuming you are going to play some Iced Earth tunes.
No.
No,
that's a wrong assumption, Jim.
I don't know.
Back of the line.
That's definitely the wrong assumption, man. No, we're here. Anytime we're out, we're going to be promoting Ashes of Aries. We've got 1 record out. We've got the point we are right now. We're either going to be in a support situation, or maybe a festival situation. And then we're not going to stand by. We're not going to rest on our laurels. We're going to go out and do another record. Right. So by that time, we're going to have 2 records, and then that'll be a full show, and or that'll be like a headlining show's worth of music if we choose to do that route, or we can go that route. And then we'll be good, and and then we'll do another record, and that's the way that we plan on doing it. As long as Nuclear Blast is happy with what we're doing as far as our numbers and things like that. But I can't stress enough, anybody that has thought about buying a record, please do so, because
I buy your record. Actually, if you can see it, actually,
if you don't sell records, man, the record company's not going to have us out for very long. So we'll see how it goes. That's all. It's all looking really positive right now, man. But the record's been out for a month,
Right.
Yeah. And just going back, okay, you spoke of why you left Iced Earth last time, but we're talking about there was also the 9/11 incident, and I've never spoken to you, and from what I've read is you've left the band because 9/11 really struck a chord in your heart. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, it did, man, and probably not in the way that a lot of people think. As far as patriotism, obviously that's there, but even more so, it made me look at my life where I was at that time. I was 31 years old. Iced Earth was doing okay, but I wasn't able to make a living off of it. The only one that had a house and things like that because they were doing music was John. And it wasn't all Iced Earth. That was Demons and Wizards and all the other projects and stuff that he was doing. It afforded him that luxury. The rest of us didn't have that luxury, man. So I was living paycheck to paycheck. Working in a restaurant and things like that.
Yeah.
And and I know a lot of people can't wrap their head around that concept. Something wicked and horror show and all these records, they should be, they're worldwide and all this other stuff, but it doesn't pay the bills.
No.
We weren't touring like we should have been. Now, I will say that we probably should have been out on the road 24/7, but it is what it is, looking back at it. But I looked at my life in a different kind of way, and my wife and I, we knew we wanted a family, and I just felt like time was kind of slipping away as far as my opportunities to do other things than music.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a little shake. And, also, we missed out on the big tour with Judas Priest, because it happened the day we were right before getting on the bus. You know what I mean? 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
2001, that was the day we were getting picked up by the bus to drive out to California and start the U.S. tour with Judas Priest. And that just went away, We spent 3 days on a bus traveling to nowhere, and all we did was watch news feeds about what was going on in New York and D.C. and Pennsylvania. So, it really does, man. A big event like that often puts people's lives in perspective, and I think a lot of people's lives changed that day, not just for the sheer tragedy of it, but also just taking a look internally. So that's what happened. I started looking at different paths that I might be able to go down. I let John know I was taking courses for criminal justice and things like that, and it just didn't work out, man. Glorious Burden just was not in the cards for me, and apparently it didn't sound what John had expected it to sound like, and Tim was available, and everything happens for a reason, man.
Yeah,
and I feel very strongly about that.
How much of Glorious Burden did you actually complete? Did you sing the whole album? Are there tapes out there?
I sang the whole record, man. So somewhere there's versions of me on there. Well, now whether they're nicely tweaked or not, I have no idea. No idea.
How did you find that? When you finished doing the vocal sessions, did you say, "Wow, that's a great album"? Did you not hear? Did John hear something that you didn't hear?
No, man. I mean, I didn't. I didn't feel. I mean, there were certain parts on there that I think were really pretty good, but I didn't feel that, and that's probably. I mean, I'm not saying that John was wrong. I'm saying that John was probably right. It wasn't. It wasn't my best performance, because I don't know that I was in it all the way. And so that was probably it was a good call by John. I think it's a better record because Tim was on it. So
yeah, actually, Tim did a great job on that. He's got a slightly different style than you do, but a good style nevertheless, right?
Yep.
So now, what's your day job? What's happening now? How are you going to get away from your day job to go touring? And
are you still a policeman?
Man, I just took a week and a half vacation and was able to do a 9-day stint with Powerwolf overseas, over in Europe. So it's cool.
Yeah.
You got some North American dates? I know there's a festival in Maryland coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're doing the Rock Harvest Festival in White Marsh, Maryland, which is close to Baltimore, on November 7th. Excuse me. But we're working on other stuff for North America as well. We definitely want to get out here and do it, man. This is our area, so we should certainly be able to do this. And it's we don't want to go broke doing it, certainly. But that's the tough thing too. That's the toughest thing about touring is realizing it does cost money to do, man. I mean, you got travel expenses, and gas is not cheap anymore.
Just gas.
You got to pay for rental equipment and rental vans and trailers and all this other stuff, and
promotion.
None of us are against doing the work. I mean, I'm willing to get back to the old school when Iced Earth was out rolling around in an RV or a van or whatever, and I was driving 3-4 hours a night after getting off stage.
Right.
I got no problem with that, So we'll see how it goes, man. We're just going to do the very best we can, and hopefully something good will come up.
Okay, I got some questions for you from our fans. You ready?
Okay.
All right, here we go. So Alonzo, USA. Are you still working for the police, and how do you balance music and family? I think you kind of answered a lot of those questions, but are you still working for the police department?
Yeah. I've just got my 10-year anniversary, if you can believe that, man.
Oh, congratulations!
Thanks. Yeah, I'm halfway to retirement.
What state do you live in?
In Delaware.
Okay, Delaware. All right. Not
a
lot of crime there, is there?
Delaware.
Not a lot of crime in Delaware, huh?
If you're for people that are not big on geography, if you're in Washington D.C., you go due east, And right before you hit the water, you're in Delaware.
Here's another one. Brian, USA. Why did you decide to take voice lessons after Burnt Offerings?
Well, because I had taken voice lessons before that from my sister-in-law, who was very much an operatic vocalist. I mean, she taught voice and everything else, but she was, in the operatic thing. So I took voice lessons from a guy named Al Cohen, who's really super good at things, and he looks at kind of voice in a different way. So I basically had two different worlds to choose from, and if you listen to stuff on Burnt Offerings, there's a lot of that very even in the little things in Dante's Inferno and stuff, there's very operatic kind of styling.
Sure.
And then you move on and it gets a little bit more rock as my sure. rock / metal as time progresses with me and the records. So Al gave me a lot of good pointers and things like kind of looking at your voices like you're changing gears and just coming from the chest up to the head voice and into falsetto and just using different tools and things like that. So that's kind of where I started going with that and looking at my voice as like something that I really needed to be able to control better.
For sure.
And especially in the environment that I was given, like John saying, okay, I want you to do this down here, and then I want you to go up here like this, and then so
vocal gymnastics.
I really needed those tools.
All right, we got Oleski from Finland.
From Finland.
Have you heard of Stu Block? Well, you could say yes and no there.
The name sounds familiar. He's from Canada, right?
I can't quite put my finger on it.
Okay, Theodore, Bulgaria. What was the first metal record you bought?
Oh, first metal record I bought. Well, here's the thing, man. That's really hard for me to determine because I was fortunate enough to have a brother who was 5 years older than me and introduced me to metal. So he ended up buying a lot of the stuff, and I ended up just reaping the benefit.
Yeah.
You spent the money on candy.
I'd have to say the first one that I actually
officially
bought was probably
Iron
man,
Killers.
Master of Puppets, I think.
Master.
Yeah. Like I said, man, I was fortunate enough. I had my brother that handed down his music to me. So I mean, I burned up several cassettes, but
Here's the last question, Kevin, USA. What have you learned about the music industry? Yeah,
it's a business.
It's over.
Well, there's always something to learn about the music industry, but the main thing to learn is that it's ever changing, and I think with all the different formats that have come out, and I know a lot of kids don't know, and I say kids because I'm allowed to say it because I'm an old guy. I know a lot of kids they don't understand how by changing formats it changes the way that people listen to music and the way that people buy music, and that of course the way people buy music changes the way that musicians get paid.
Right.
So the only thing I can say is you have to roll with the times, and because of the digital age with downloading, and it's not just the illegal downloading but the single downloading, because people don't buy records in whole anymore. It hurts. It hurts somebody that's writing music and that really relies on music, the purchase of music, and them getting the royalties from that. It hurts the wallet. So if I've got a whole record out, and somebody just downloads 2 songs, well, I'm being shorted 8 songs because you just downloaded 2. You know what I mean? Not that it's a bad thing, because it might just be that some people that's all they're ever going to do, but it does kind of hurt, and that's why I'm a big proponent of if I really like one song on a record, I'm going to buy the whole record because I want those guys to get paid, and that's just the way I feel, and I guess maybe it's just the insight that I have in the industry and how it works. But that's how it works, man.
It's interesting. Bands today, they're downloading other bands' music, and then they wonder why people aren't buying their music. I mean, it's a vicious.
That's it. And if you're a band that's unsigned or whatever, and you're doing scraping by. I mean, I get that, man. I get it's tough out there, but you can't undermine the whole concept, because the concept is that you are producing something whether it's intellectual property or not, it's still something tangible that you can enjoy on a regular basis. So why not, if you're getting a CD and you're listening to it all the time, even if you listen to it 5, 6, 7 times, man, you should be paying for that, because you should at least, make that initial purchase, and then you can do whatever you want with it. I buy a CD and then I download it into iTunes, and then I've got it on MP3, or I've got the solid, CD or whatever. I just think it's a good way to go, man, and it really is. It really does matter to the bands in the long run. I mean, it's.
Yeah, well, you know what?
It's just the difference between,
It's evolution, right? I mean, and it's going to keep on changing, right? Nothing will stay the same. Alan?
Well, just getting back to the new album, where's the name come from, Ashes of Aries?
Well, we were kicking around different names and things like that. We were trying to, think of something cool, obviously, something metal. You can't be, the Daisy Chains or whatever. It's not going to happen for metal. But it was something I thought of, and of course I think of it, and I've got to Google it to make sure that nobody else has thought of it. Well, sure. Somebody else had, and these genius kids, wherever they're from, I don't even know where they're from, but they had thought of the name and stuff, and they had something up on YouTube, and it was them jamming in their garage or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, these guys probably won't care if I utilize this name. So anyway, I shoot the idea past the guys, and they're like, well, it sounds cool, but what's it about? And I said, well, to me, this is me speaking. It's sort of this duality, which I have a lot of in my life. I'm law enforcement, and I'm in metal, and there's kind of a lot of dualities. Well, this to me is a duality, and it has the Ashes of Aries, the double A's, back mirrored, and all that other good stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with this. But to me, the idea is Ashes of Aries is either the point where Aries has finally driven humanity to killing ourselves, because we actually have that ability to turn the entire planet into ash at this point, without a doubt. We have enough nuclear warheads that we can go boom, and we're all done. Or the opposite of that is the point where humanity has risen above war, and Aries is no longer relevant, and so the Ashes of Aries. Yeah. So it's that dual kind of thinking, and that's what popped into my head, and that's the way I related to the guys, and they dug it, and there we are.
And Jimmy, Aries is?
It's a Greek god.
Of,
I don't know, war, I guess.
War.
Is it war?
War.
I'm Greek, so...
Yep. He's apparently, he's got to brush up on his Greek mythology.
Yeah, you've been out of the loop too long, my friend.
Yeah, they're going to take your card back.
Well, I mean, and I guess our last question, and we'll wrap it up. So you're on the police force, and, you're on a job, right? And does anyone ever go to you, Matt, can you sing a couple of bars of this song? Do you ever get that? Or somebody you're holding up, stick them up. And think, wait a second, you're Matt Barlow. I'm getting arrested by Matt Barlow. Do you ever get that?
Yeah, no, that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened at this point. No. But somebody, I actually had the News Journal, which is the kind of the largest paper in Delaware, had recently done an article about me because I guess a fan had pointed out to a friend of his who was a writer. Hey, did you know about this guy? He's in a band, and he's been a cop in Delaware and down in Georgetown and stuff. And the guy's like, well, no, but that sounds kind of like a cool story. So then he approached me with it, and of course I got it passed through my chief and all that other good stuff that he could do the interview, and so it was kind of a cool thing. The Delaware Online has there's a little blurb on there about, well, the whole article's on there, but it was kind of cool, that did I got on the front page of the Friday paper, and there's a picture of me, and it's for the entertainment section and stuff. So now people are actually starting to say, hey, weren't you in the paper? Yeah.
And now with Ashes of Aries, I mean, it's just gonna grow exponentially. You're gonna have all kinds of people running up to you for autographs and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. I'm sure.
Anyways, thank you very much for being a guest on our show. Everyone, go out and purchase Ashes of Aries and go buy it or download it legally.
And anything else you need? We got the fans out there watching. Anything they need to know? Any promotions? Anything? Now's the time to let us know what's coming down the road with Ashes of Aries.
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize to everybody for being more nasally than I normally am. I've been dealing with a cold. We've had this nor'easter rotating around our state, so the low pressure has killed my sinuses. Sure. But so that's why I sound a little bit like Snuffleupagus. But
Snuffleupagus.
Anyway, obviously, if you guys can make it out, anybody that can make it out to White Marsh on the 7th of November. Okay. I don't know when this is going to be airing, but if it is before then, please make it out. It's to benefit a really good charity called Fallen Blue, which is an organization that was created to help out the families of officers that have fallen outside of the line of duty, and the families might not get those benefits.
Right.
And it just it helps out with things like funeral arrangements and things like that. So it's a really good cause and really big supporter of that. I just appreciate you guys. If you do, please go out and buy the record, and do whatever you want, man. If you want to download singles, that's fine. However you want to do it, just spread the word. We're not gonna, like I said before, we're not gonna rest on our laurels. As soon as we can, we get the ability to, we're gonna get out there and tour and support it, and also have another record out within in an appropriate amount of time. We're not gonna sit around and go, well, we'll just put one out whenever, and we're gonna work hard at really keeping stuff going and keeping it lively, and we want to keep our fans and friends interested in it, and we want to keep our label happy, and so we can keep doing stuff. So I appreciate it. If you get on Nuclear Blast, say, hey man, I really like the record or whatever, that kind of support is really good too. That always helps us,
send an email.
Help us in the long run. Yeah, send a message.
Support Matt and Ashes of Aries.
Ashes of Aries debut album, classic Matt Barlow. Thanks again, Matt. It was a great talking to you. A real pleasure. It was a great day, and all the best, and good luck with the new project.
Cheers, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.